be what I always say, what SEBI did in 1992 to stock markets.
Everybody has taken it lightly. ठीक है, डालेंगे तो ठीक है, नहीं डालेंगे तो भी ठीक है.
2018 was the start point when we listed on it.
It's not difficult, I would say.
It is hard work. Have to be very customized.
I would say about 400 crores.
Typical redevelopment project, there are 80 to 100.
Now for even rental properties, we might have to keep a separate channel partner meet for
We started with Daulatnagar, which is like
Daulatnagar really gave you a good Daulat.
में जाते हैं तो हमको सिर्फ है ना चूनी पुरानी खंडर बिल्डिंग हमको गर्लफ्रेंड लगती है.
Welcome to Real Estate का Real Gyan with Prop Gyani Girish Shalvani. Today we are here with real estate developers, those who have been instrumental in changing the skyline of our very own western suburbs, also known as the Jewel of Mumbai. I would like to introduce Mr. Vikram Mehta, promoter Massacon Group, Mr. Harish Kumar Jain, founder and director H. Rishabh Raj, and Mr. Bhushan Nemlekar, director Sumit Group. Welcome on board, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, whenever we do this kind of episodes, my first question is always been, is your business still scalable?
So who goes first?
Whoever thinks it is still scalable.
Absolutely. I think the scope, I believe in India, the scope for real estate is, we are still at a very nascent stage and there is a tremendous scope to scale it up. We are still at a very premature stage, I would say.
Okay.
Real estate, particularly Mumbai, has a long way to go and there are huge development potential, especially in suburbs, South Mumbai. And like if we say about redevelopment, it's just a start. So a lot of things can be done in redevelopment.
What about you, Bhushan sir?
I completely agree with both of them. It's we are just taking off.
Okay.
And if you see the two comparable economies in terms of population, India and China. China is developed 40 times more than what real estate has been done in India.
Okay.
So we still have long way to go and we have such a big potential in that way. So we see really an upside in terms of real estate development.
So cumulative, all three of them have probably delivered more than 150 projects and they are still a long way to go and they have just started, imagine, with 150 projects delivered. Mr. Bhushan, I'd just like to understand in terms of there are regular change in government policies. So how do you tackle those government policies that keep changing probably every 3 months or 6 months, especially when you have already acquired a project and it is already under construction, probably 50% construction is already done. So how do you tackle those situations?
So in Sumit Group, we believe that we take all the approvals in place and then start the project. So that mitigates the risk of changes in the approval process. And after the new DCPR that was in 2034, in 2019 which was come, a lot of regulations have been cleared. The government is also quite supportive in terms of real estate in last few years after the COVID. And so as I said, once we have all the approvals in hand, then we start the project, so that mitigates the risk of approvals.
So do you agree, Mr.
Absolutely.
Harish? So are you saying that you guys have never faced delayed in construction because of any change in government policies?
If all the approvals are in place and the construction is like started, so that doesn't affect the project. And if we go for piecemeal approvals, part approvals, then there are chances that project may get stalled or it may affect the existing project due to changes in the policy.
Okay.
So the best solution is to have approvals at one go.
What about you, Vikram?
I would fundamentally agree with what they've said, that there's no replacement to the fact that you need to have the approvals in place first, and all of us follow that policy. In fact, redevelopment, most of the projects, now even the PMC insists that should be done.
Okay.
So that per se is okay, but having said that, in a city like Mumbai with the kind of setup that we have, these sudden bombshells keep on coming in the real estate industry, and I think that is where our strength lies. We are able to manage or wriggle our way out of those situations. That is why we are successful. I would say that is a quality that every developer must have.
And I really don't want to know how you do that.
You better not know that.
Mr. Harish, I would also like to understand, I mean, in real estate today that really played a vital role. How do you use the technology in terms of construction?
Basically, nowadays time is the biggest factor, where since in redevelopment everything has to be completed in time, because the project timelines defines the feasibility and the completion of the project.
You mean to say the profit part?
Obviously the profit part, because as you said, like changing policies, similar way construction has to be planned well in advance. Like once we acquire a project, the construction timelines has to be defined. And now as far as technology is concerned, it has started playing a huge role in India, where we have my one technology, that is aluminum foam shuttering, wherein we can get a slab cycle after a repetition of 2-3 slabs, and another slabs we get in 7 to 10 days. So if a 30-story building we plan, the RCC part can be completed in less than 24 months.
Okay.
If we plan it properly. So technology is playing huge roles. There are many other technologies coming up. I just heard recently, how far it is true or not true, I don't know. There is some Turkish technology wherein you can take a slab in 4 days.
Oh.
Yeah. So we will try for that also.
So probably in coming years, probably we can see our home getting constructed in probably less than a year or so, and these real estate developers will help us to fulfill our dreams. So would you like to also pass on a message or probably advise the first time home buyer? I mean, what they should look at, I mean, when they go out and look for a home, especially when they look for a redevelopment projects?
I would just like to say that they should really check on the approvals part and the track record of the developer. How many projects have been completed and in what time.
Okay.
And whether approvals are in place. And nowadays there is a bigger advantage to all the customer is RERA. So RERA, all the details are available online. Once you have a detail of the project, you can cross-check it in the RERA. What are the details been provided by the developer, and is the developer actually delivering it on site or not?
Mr. Vikramji, how far this is possible, and is the first time home buyer or probably even a second time home buyer is really feeling secure with MahaRERA website? Because recently there was an article that more than 15,000 developers were given notices to update MahaRERA website from their end.
No, I think it is pretty practical now, because as Harish Bhai was saying, the RERA website is now very detailed. Also, MCGM has its own website where all these approvals that we get, everything is online, and anybody can either search by the name of the developer or the architect, and they can get literally every document can be seen through that site. So somebody with even a basic knowledge can really do a lot of fact finding, which would help. Number one, the question you asked about MahaRERA, I think they are really getting their things streamlined. I mean, it obviously it's a very massive mandate that they have, because all said and done, this industry has been pretty, so to say, a unorganized sector, and in that sort of a situation, to bring everybody on same page and then to ensure that every quarter, we are not used to this kind of regulation, so to have developers, kind of every monthly you put in data, every quarterly you update those, is a difficult task. And initially everybody has taken it lightly, theek hai, dalenge to theek hai, nahi dalenge to bhi theek hai. But now RERA has become really vigilant. We just met the RERA team as part of our association BDA. All three of us were there, and the amount that they said, the kind of detailing that they are doing, they've got now lawyers in house, they've got chartered accountants in house. So they are now actually scrutinizing projects where they see that there's a lot of disparity between what has been, what the developer has provided and what the reality is at site. So with these kind of changes that RERA is planning, I think it will help buyers tremendously, and it will again bring confidence into the industry.
I would like to
think
just add, just said Vikram Bhai said it's unorganized. I would say now it was unorganized.
It is getting.
Now
it is changing.
Yeah, it's getting changed.
I still say that there's a long way to go, but there is definitely
one more
a
point
change.
to Vikram Bhai. RERA is going to be a game changer.
Okay.
Yes.
It is going to create a transparency, and in that way the trust to the home buyer. RERA is going to be what I always say, what SEBI did in 1992 to the stock markets. RERA is going to be the biggest game changer because there is now a platform. Tomorrow maybe the government authorities will also have to come on that platform, and they will be also answerable at some level.
Okay.
So that will help us to do the project faster, to deliver the project faster, and at the end getting the home buyer his rightful home faster. That would be the key.
So which means there is a lot of scope for all those agencies, those who consult on RERA to developers. There is a lot more potential and scope to go on with. Mr. Vikram, I would also like to understand, I mean, you have one of the fantastic project located in South Mumbai known as the South Bay. What really influenced you to make a fantastic landmark project there? I mean, you keep admiring that project. I mean, whenever I pass through, I keep admiring that project. I mean, most of the time, probably I get conscious. Signal to miss nahi kar dunga.
So I think all of us, whether it's a small project or a large project, or whether it is inside some by-lane or it is on the main road, all of us, we try to do every project as good as we can. The only difference is here because it is bang on the main road, one of the most vital roads of the city. It's just after the Pedder Road flyover. So then, we got an opportunity to really showcase a product that was very close to our heart. And the challenge there was it's such a small plot, it's and again 200 square meters of that plot was to be handed over for road widening. So it made it further challenged. Yet having said that, it gives me immense satisfaction that we've come out with an outstanding structure, which I can with a lot of pride say that we've done that building.
Good. Mr. Harijan, you have fantastic project located at Borivali known as Phoenix, and recently you also closed one of the biggest transaction in Borivali for this penthouse. Why this idea for a penthouse? I mean, it's roughly around 6,000 square feet if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
So, I mean, why Borivali? Why this penthouse? So I am prop Gyani.
That's my Gyani.
You have done a detailed studies.
So regarding Phoenix, I would just like to say that it's one of the most luxury project in Borivali. The location itself is one of the best location in Borivali. It's in Devidas Lane, and we have one of the good projects in Borivali, Devidas Lane. Like we have the Club Aquaria 1.
Okay.
So bang opposite to Aquaria 1, this project is there, and the demand for this luxury segment was always there in Borivali, but there was no such project. I got influenced from one of the projects in Borivali, which really did very well, and from there onwards, I went to see that there are no good luxury houses in Borivali. So the Jodi size of one flat itself is like 2,800 square feet. It starts from, it's like 1,350 square feet, 3 BHK, and Jodi comes to be like 2,800 square feet with all the balconies and all. So all the rooms has the balconies. The living room, when it's clubbed, it's like more than 800 square feet of a living room in a Jodi flat.
The size of a 2 BHK.
So to my surprise, and I would just say like in 15 days, we got sale of about 60,000 square feet.
Oh
wow.
It was really it was very shocking to me also that we just started, and in 15 days we just, like few of people, the channel partners, in 15 days just sold about 60,000 square feet. And then again the confidence we just got in, so we have like 4 penthouses, that's duplex.
Okay.
It's having a the 28 feet height of the living room, and it has an attached swimming pool in the living room.
The plunge pool.
Yes, with the dry areas and all.
It also got that automated switch also. I mean, you can cover that plunge pool.
Yes, that can be covered. it can be made into the entire swimming pool can be converted into a deck area. So that will be automated, and that deck itself will be like more than 600 square feet along with the existing deck, with that attached with the hall.
So someone really looking for a fancy penthouse with more of a party area, that's a project that you should look at. Mr. Bhushanji, for a nice project, probably Vikramji's and Harishji's project, I have to really drive down to that lane to look at their project. But for your project, I just have to sit in front of the computer and look at the numbers going up and down throughout the week. So how did you made that happen? The biggest, and the dream of every real estate developer, or probably every small and medium scale enterprise, to reach up to that level and get listed on stock market. So how did you really make that happen?
This journey was started in 2015-16. When I came back from Harvard, I thought we should make our company more professional. It's always as a young developer, second generation, you feel that I should do something more. And it was little tough to convince the promoters that we have to go into that process. But somehow we got convinced, they got convinced, and 2018 was the start point when we listed on an SME platform, that was Emerge. And Island FL crisis happened the next day. So we got listed, and the next day Island FL crisis happened. So it was a different journey, but then you have to grow, and that has given a lot of confidence in the people, because every quarter I have to declare my numbers. I have to declare what sales I have done. I have to declare how much profit or loss, whatever. So in COVID, maybe we had a 20 crore of loss, that is also declared. So when we go to fill tenders, people ask, "Aap to loss mein ho?" Bola loss mein hai to bhi sustain kar sakte hai. So that is the key, and that transparency has helped us to back the projects. Means I want to say that the project where we started our company, which was like a 300 square feet office in Dattani Trade Center, that project Redevelopment, now they have appointed us as the Redevelopment after say 25 years of we being there.
So that's really a round of applause.
That's a full circle that is coming back to us.
Good.
And with 90% majority, they have said ki, okay, you should do the redevelopment. So it's as Harish Bhai and Vikram said, it is hard work. You have to be persistent, consistent to deliver, and you have to consistently deliver. And Borivali as a market, I would rightly say with Harish Bhai, there is lot of luxury requirement. People's expectation of lifestyle has changed after COVID.
Yeah,
people just don't want bedrooms and hall. They want something more than how you can give. Can you give open kitchens? Can you give decks? Can you give powder toilets? Can you give only utility areas? Can you give maid's room? There are so many things that people are looking at. So we have to understand the customer's need and get it instrumental to tell our architects, okay, we want this kind of design and that kind of design. So that is the key. I think we should look forward. We have to be very customer centric now going forward.
Vikramji, how easy it is to really get into the designing part once you have acquired that project? I mean, it is very easy to get the utility area as per the buyer's need. I mean, it sounds very easy. I just wanted to understand how easy it is. I mean, when you sit on the designing table with architect and probably your internal team as well.
See, I would say to do a standard kind of a product is not difficult, I would say.
Okay.
But when you do something fancy, when you try and get in, as he says, so many aspects into a project, of course, depending on the size of the project, depending on the size of the plot, then the complications start happening. And then that is where the DCPR 2034 comes into picture. Then you try and fit all that. And then the customer says, ye pura vastu design kiya hai ki nahi hai? So there are so many parameters. I think as a developer, you need to know the pulse of your customer. You need to know what area that particular project is, and prioritize the requirements. So for example, at Mesicon we are focusing in one micro market at Andheri West majorly. So there we exactly know what the clients are looking at. We virtually don't make brochures. When the project is announced, my inventory, by the time I'm at plinth level, virtually the inventory is over.
Okay.
Yes. So we exactly know what that community is looking at. So it helps when you're doing a micro market and you're focused on that. for people like them, where they are across the city, they will have to evolve every time. They are depending on what location they are. Their team has to do that extra effort. So having said that, not difficult, but you need to prioritize is my point.
What would be the top line of one of your most prestigious project that you're doing right now?
So you're talking of a particular unit?
No, the top line of the project, the complete project.
I would say about 400 crores.
So, I mean, few developers spend almost 400 to 500 crores yearly just to get that sale. And Mr. Vikramji do that sale without even getting the brochure printed. Can you imagine that?
Very, very important. It doesn't come like that. It has to have like a lot of effort.
There's a lot of sacrifice.
I'm sure there is lot of efforts and sacrifice.
I think all of us, at least I can vouch for the three of us, we all have established that sort of a goodwill with our customers, and it has taken a lot of efforts, and it has taken a lot of sacrifice also.
Not only for primary market, would like to also inform you that these guys have been instrumental for the rental market as well. Because of their redevelopment projects, the rental property market has gone up by almost 12%.
Yes.
How do you really help your clients, I mean the existing tenants from whom you have acquired that project? How do you help them to find their rental apartment? I mean, I just looking for a rental apartment for one of my friend at Andheri, and he's been scouting for that property for almost 3 months now. So, I mean, if you have taken that project, one of the project in probably suburbs, so those people have to move on. I mean, they have to look for a property on rent for a period of 3 years or 4 years, depending on the project. So how do you help? I mean, do you guys get those kind of challenges during the acquisition or probably at a later stage?
Yes. Normally what happens for a typical redevelopment project, there are 80 to 100 members standard. They have to find a new house for next 3 years till the project is. So in the micro market, there are local area channel partners, local brokers. Plus we have our team who, once they know that we have taken the project in say next 6 months, this is going to get vacated. So with that channel partner help, in Borivali only we had 81 members. We had given them 60 days time. They vacated in 25 days.
Oh,
all of them. Because they had the connection with the local channel partners. When they knew they are also very quite proactive. They also start finding themselves the houses.
They are also looking for business once they approve.
And so they approach us, and we set them with the society members, and then in that process, and the society member so we are also happy that we get the project vacate faster. Then we can start the new construction faster. That also.
So I believe now for even rental properties, we might have to keep a separate channel partner meet for.
Yes.
Time is there.
Time is there.
Time is there, yeah.
Yes. It's
how do you, overcome challenges that you face after acquiring a property? Let's take an example that you have acquired a project with a feasibility. Apne tenants ko 32%, 35, 30, whatever percentage that they have agreed on. You have acquired that project. And that project has been delayed for whatever circumstances, probably COVID or any other circumstance, which is out of your control. So how do you overcome? Because I believe the entire feasibility runs on the timeline. And keeping in mind the real estate projects, we are talking about crores. I mean, it is not something that we are dealing in lakhs, and it is hundreds of crores. So how do you overcome those challenges, and have you faced any that kind of challenges in past?
As rightly said by Vikram bhai, compromises. We have to compromise a lot. Once project is taken, a redevelopment is completely on it's a goodwill of a developer. It's mouth publicity of the entire area where we do redevelopment. So we do face all these problems. Like COVID came in. COVID was a very big issue which everybody faced in the world.
Correct.
But other than that, there are everyday, day-to-day issues related to approvals, related to some dissenting members. Once almost 70-80%, 90% of the building is vacated. There are 2-3 tenants who really do not cooperate. So even that delays the project. But then we see to it that this is the part of our job. So we really, like you say, we have to have some contingencies in this project. And even though after that, if there is a issue with any project, it is we who sacrifice. We once take the project, we really have to be on it, whatever may it come. So that all is जो bombs आ जाते हैं अचानक से, कोई खाली नहीं कर रहा है, कोई policy change हो जा रही है. So being a redeveloper, you have to be ready for all these things. and you have to face these challenges as good as your job. That is a part of our job.
I will just add a point to what Harish bhai said is ये ऐसा भी होता है that like COVID was a complete setback for all of us. Nobody could have imagined or planned a contingency of that sort. But in my company, we have not reduced the salary of a single person. We did not remove anybody from the job. We have ensured that each and every tenant of every building got paid on time. So far, before COVID, we never used to do an online transaction. We used to write physical checks. And वो post dated checks सबको दिए गए थे. And एक केस में तो ऐसा हुआ मई महीने में पोस्ट डेटेड चेक का 1 साल खत्म हो गया था. तो मई महीने में उनके चेक्स खत्म हो गए. बट nobody even how would they call up? It was such a bad situation. मई महीने में हम सब घर पे शॉर्ट्स पहन के बैठे थे घर पे. And my team contacted everybody in that building. We took their online banking details. We got the banking thing done. And we ensured that even in the month of May, we got their rental checks on time, paid. Yeah. And we have not defaulted on a single thing. So it does happen in situations where we lose money. Where there are projects where we have not made money. We have lost.
We've lost from.
But that is where, and that is what differentiates a good developer vis-a-vis one who takes shortcuts, and that is where the goodwill is generated.
So I believe commitment plays an important role, and that's what run the entire business and the scale model of real estate. I mean, we are talking about thousands of crores of projects. Yes. What do you when you go out in the market as a real estate developers, what do you foresee when you acquire these kind of projects, and why just redevelopment? Why not look into SRA, or why not look into a freehold land where you can actually look for some kind of great projects?
We as a Sumit, we look at all kind of projects. It's not purely redevelopment. We do Mahada redevelopment. We have done SRA redevelopment successfully. We are doing a lot of redevelopment in the cities, which is called 33/7. And we are doing JDs also, joint development with the landowners. But not buying out the land, because it's a capital intensive business. At the end, the interest cost or the project cost has to be worked out. A lot of contingencies, as Harish bhai said, you have to build in your project cost, because project might get delayed for the reasons unknown to us. When you got a force majeure, there is a strike of cement, or steel prices go up drastically sometime because of the China war, which has nothing to do, or the Ukraine war. So this plays. So as a developer, we have to be mentally prepared to understand that thing and accordingly start. So once you start the project, you cannot stop. It's like once then profit and loss is just on the paper. You have to deliver your commitment to the customer, whoever it is. As Vikram bhai said, ki in spite of COVID, the checks were honored. There was no pay cut. In our company, we had 70 staff. For first 2 months, nobody knew. So we told them ki we'll pay 60% for now. Let's see, because we don't want to take anybody out of the work. Let's pay 60% for first 2 months. Let's see how the COVID turns out. And then we realized, okay, after 2.5 months, slowly things starting. Immediately in 3 months, we reinstate everybody's salary. So they were that confidence gave us. And that employees only come to the office in that difficult times, make our company work, supporting the laborers on the site. We have done more than 5,000 vaccinations that time for our laborers also, because at the end they are going to work on sites, and if they are comfortable, then our projects are going to run on time. So that was a very key. So as a developer, you have to look at the whole ecosystem of the project. How does it work? It's not only one person or two person. There are 500 people working directly or indirectly on a project. Depends on the scale. So that goodwill gives us a lot of, as he said, other projects that will come up. With his the members will say, yeah, in the tough times also they have helped. They have not gone back on their word. So that helps us.
What about you, Vikram?
Yeah, I will. As far as I am concerned, your question mainly was. Why redevelopment only?
Correct.
And as far as I am concerned, at Mesicon, we've kind of identified one zone and we are only focusing in that belt. So by default, you don't get empty lands. By default, you don't get slum projects there, because in and around Shopper Stop on SV Road, we are doing. So predominantly, we have adjusted to that fact that humko redevelopment hi karna hai. And we are very happy doing that.
Vikram ji, very important. previously we discussed on the sales part where you said you have not even printed brochure for sales. I know one of your project located at Lalubai Park, which I was probably studying a year back. And उसका आपने ना building भी demolish नहीं किया था, and that project was completely sold out with 20% premium of that market. मतलब वहाँ पे 40,000 के आसपास का कुछ rate है, and I heard that आपने कुछ 44-45,000 के आसपास, and it was completely sold out. I mean how that happened?
It's just because of we focusing on one market. So what happens is I have at least about 15-20 clients at any point in time who are waiting for the next project to start. Or they're literally waiting. कि आपका next project कब आ रहा है, हम उस and last 4 projects that we have done, the day we have signed the development agreement, the next day we have taken token from somebody. We just said 1 lakh रुपया खाली token दो हमको, but we are blocking a flat for you. So that is payment once we get the RERA approvals and all that. So that is the benefit of a goodwill.
Yeah, I'll agree.
And he does very similar work.
Goodwill plays a very important role over there for him. And
they've experienced it in Daulat Nagar. Same way they've grown.
We started with Daulat Nagar, which is my home ground. I stay over there. My office was there. So similar way, I developed 17-18 buildings in Daulat Nagar. In past, it was Daulat Nagar Borivali East. So Rishabh Rajo, Daulat Nagar wala. So that way we started and we came out.
So Daulat Nagar really gave you a good daulat, huh?
In fact, I'll tell you.
तो लल्लुए पार्क के बारे में आप
Daulat Nagar did not give me daulat. Daulat Nagar gave me a lot of goodwill. I'll tell you, because that was my initial years and where my focus was not on the profit part of it. I really wanted to make a good brand. I really wanted to make a good buildings. I really love making good buildings. Redevelopment has come to another level now, and we really need to concentrate on making good buildings, good stuff we need to give to people, because the cost itself to a customer, it's so huge. So if we don't give quality products, then we are lacking somewhere. We will not be for a long time in this journey. So in order to continue in a good way and have a good brand in redevelopment in today in Mumbai, because redevelopment is future. So we need to make good buildings. We need to focus on very small, minute things, which I really studied from him also, making good lobbies, giving good lifts, giving good small amenities where we don't have huge amenities to play. So we have to concentrate on giving good doors, good slidings, good kitchens, good flooring. This all plays a very important role in redevelopment.
So redevelopment, when you say why redevelopment, you see Mumbai as a region, 40,000 old buildings need to be redeveloped. So if I want to do 4 projects a year, I might take maybe 400 developers, 4 projects a year, still we have 40 years doing redevelopment. So, and across the board, you from Kaf Parade to Daisar to Mulund to Sayan, you talk any region, everybody is speaking redevelopment. And I think as a word redevelopment, I feel it's a rejuvenation. Actually, the city of Mumbai is rejuvenating itself in terms of a city which everybody knows is a very thriving city, and in next 5 years it will find its rightful place because of so much of infrastructure going on and so much of redevelopment, new spaces. Every space, and everybody is upgrading. Everybody wants a bigger house. Everybody wants a bigger play area, whatever areas. So that's where redevelopment, and we see a lot of potential in that as a redevelopment.
Harji, I was there in one of the exhibition that Brihan Mumbai Developers Association conducted a year back, and I heard one of the developer talking to you about redevelopment project that you have done in past, and he said, I really don't want to do a redevelopment project which is below 1,000 square meter. It is not feasible. So is it really true? And if that's the case, then what will happen to those projects, or what will happen to those buildings?
I do not agree on this. There are different segments of developers who really do below 1,000 meters, 2,000 meters, 4,000 meters, wherein today also we have decided, after completing 50 redevelopment projects in 10 years, we have done all sizes, ranging from 300 square meters to 6,000 square meters, 10,000 square meters. So one strategic call what we took, this is actually a strategy, but since you have asked, so being very open, So this less than 1,000 square meter is like a very fast delivery item and
Cash cow.
Right, that's the word actually. So in order to like keep on going, and since we have excelled in this, like today also 700-800 square meter a project to any other developer may not be so cash cow to इतना अच्छा उनके लिए नहीं viability नहीं होगा, but for me we have developed that kind of infrastructure wherein I would love to do 700-900 square meter at simultaneously doing a 4,500 square meter project. So we have a what do you say, expertise in that key. Within 11 months, 15 months we deliver.
He actually delivers within 12 months a project of that size.
Is it?
OC,
yes.
from CC to OC.
With OC.
So this is really a competition to those developers, those who probably delivers 5 years, 6 years later. And
there's not a competition to that.
No, it is a competition because I mean at the end of the day, as a home buyer, we really look for a delivery of a project, and on paper, on agreement, those developers actually mention 18 months and don't deliver at all. So it is really a competition during buying for a first time home buyer.
Yes. Every project in RERA is pre-delivered by more than a year or more than 1.5 year. We have literally completed a 9-story project in IC Colony in 11 months with OC.
Oh.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, when we recently met with the RERA team, we told them that there has to be some system by which RERA should actually forget felicitating,
acknowledge,
but at least acknowledge, give a certificate to such developers that yes, RERA is glad to say that you completed the project in so many months. There should be, in fact, this kind of stories should be projected positively,
that
because
encourage
there are
more.
enough number of negative stories happening every day. You read a paper and there's a whole story, ये project इतना delay हो गया, ये project ऐसा हो गया. तो ये positive stories भी I feel बाहर आनी चाहिए. And that's where the authorities also should felicitate such developers.
I'm really happy to know that, and with the recent article that we have just discussed a few minutes back, that almost 15,000 notices were given to developers. So of course, when you really do everything on time as per rules and regulation, there should be also a newspaper ad done by MahaRERA to motivate these developers, those who are actually following the guidelines. Bhushanji, just wanted to understand, I mean, you have an educational background and you are into real estate. Have you ever thought of getting into just real estate, or you thought of getting into some other business and real estate just happened accidentally?
So I did my commerce graduation, I did my chartered accountancy, last group I could not clear. Then I did so finance was always like a liking for me, and my dad was into real estate. He was doing construction, so there was always a choice whether he never forced me what to do. Whatever you want to do, you like to do, try. I told him I want to try real estate for 1 year. So I went into sales, and it took me 8 months to do my first sales. I was sitting on the side and customers used to come me, give some. So it was a understanding learning for me.
I think your dad gave you the toughest side, probably.
No, which also says that how difficult the sales is, and these guys are really doing a great job if the product is getting sold out before even they can officially announce it and launch it in the market.
So that helped me to understand so many parts of real estate. It's not about only finance or only construction, it's only planning, it's a whole, as a developer you'll have to think from all angles. Holistically. It's not about just one aspect of the project. And then I slowly got the liking of it, and then it was no looking back. And then I was hooked to it, and I feel this is you can actually see what you have created.
Yeah.
It's not
virtual.
Legacy.
It's a legacy.
It's going to stay there for 100 years. So people are going to speak about it, good, bad, and I can proudly say in all my 60 projects, people will still speak good about it only.
That's the thing.
Because we have delivered on time and whatever commitments we have done, and that we have to see, and it's a huge potential again. So as a business potential is a huge potential. As Harish Bhai said, I would say that Harish Bhai or Vikram Bhai, in a micro market like Andheri, he can do more than 1,000 crores of projects. Just that micro market. A Borivali maybe a Borivali size of a micro market will be more than 20-25,000 crores if we go collectively together. So it's a huge potential market that we have to, and it's a house. Everybody's biggest dream is that good house, dream house. So, and we are that satisfaction gives us more than the money or the profit of it. That satisfaction of people giving people the keys in their hand. That is a different satisfaction.
So, Mr. Bhushan really cracked it. He is a finance guy and he understood कि पैसा पैसे में ही है.
पैसा सीमेंट और स्टील में.
Mr. Vikram, I would want to understand, how do you gather knowledge about real estate? I mean, like when we started this video podcast, so I was talking about sales, I was talking about numbers. So how do you as a developer?
In one sentence, I would say fatka kha ke.
It's all about experience.
So yeah, you learn it. Everything you learn, I would say the hard way, because whatever knowledge you learn through seminars and books doesn't really help you. आप जब उसमें कूदते हो तो you realize. See, I did according to me, the best project we did was the South Bay. But if I look from a marketing point of view or a sales point of view, I feel that Andheri is a faster moving market than South Bombay.
That's your home ground.
Correct. Also, and that's why it has become a home ground. Otherwise, I could have done more projects there also.
Correct.
But I feel this is a very fast moving, because South Bombay still has a lot of inventory in old buildings. Whereas if you come to Andheri area, the area that we are, if you want a 3-bedroom flat, you'll have to come to one of the new buildings. You won't get it in any of the old buildings. That same thing is in Borivali. So ultimately, you will have to figure out your own way, which can only happen aap kudo aur fir rasta nikle.
Mr. Harish, we have an association, Brown Mumbai Developers Association. More than 700 plus developers are part of that association.
You must congratulate him. He's elected the president this year.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
So just wanted to understand, what was the idea behind getting this association, and are you guys really doing some kind of regular activities in terms of seminars to ensure that whatever you have learned and you have created, that kind of legacy can be passed on to a new generation developers, or probably developers, those who are actually struggling to create their own legacy?
BDA is really very, very close to my heart. And the question what you have asked, which Vikram bhai always says it's your favorite question. Actually, BDA, it's Brand Mumbai Developer Association, and it was time like in 2017-18 when this new DCP or 2003-4 came into existence, or it was coming, like there were many hurdles to get it executed. And since like 2014 onwards, there was quite the real estate market was not so good, and upon that, getting all those difficulties where the approvals had become a major hurdle. And there are like, if you see in a percentage wise in Mumbai, the developers, 80% of the developers are doing redevelopment, and doing redevelopment with a smaller size of 400-500 square meters up to 1000 square meters. There was no platform. If a developer is having any issue, whom it is to be addressed, whom he should go, where he should go and get his grievances solved, or how can he go forward. So same happened with us. We, like small developers at that point of time, really did not have any platform to go. There were other parent associations but that concern of a redeveloper was never being addressed anywhere. So we really had to have a platform, because in redevelopment, अगर 6-8 महीना में अगर कोई approval नहीं आता है, 12 महीने में approval viability खत्म. A developer has nowhere to go, and his business is completely finished. So that platform we created, and I was quite surprised. Like we 5 guys came together. कि ये issues have in Borivali. It was actually BDA was Borivali Developer Association. That where we started. We all 5 developers from Borivali gathered, and we really came on the same platform कि ये issue सबको हो रहा है करके. So I remember exactly, it was a Friday. We 5 developers came in and created a small group, WhatsApp group. By Monday, there were 200 developers in that group.
So those 5 developers created a small WhatsApp group would be an understatement, because I'm sure those 5 developers would be worth more than 1,000 crores. So the WhatsApp group itself would be more than 1,000 crores. Mr. Hariji, I myself is a real estate enthusiast. एंड आप रिसेंट मैं आपको फॉलो भी करता हूँ इंस्टाग्राम पे, तो आप रिसेंटली है ना वेकेशन पे गए थे स्विस, ठीक है? तो ऐसा आपके साथ
ये भी,
हाँ मतलब
ये भी इन्फॉर्मेशन है।
हाँ, लास्ट वीकेंड पे आप ड्राइव पे किधर गए थे वो भी पता है, ठीक है? विच स्पोर्ट्स कार यू हैव वो भी पता है, ठीक है? सो आई रियली फॉलो यू। जस्ट वांटेड टू अंडरस्टैंड, ऐसा आपके साथ या आप लोगों के साथ कभी ऐसा हुआ है कि आप वेकेशन पे गए हो और उधर जाते जाते कंस्ट्रक्शन क्वालिटी के बारे में सोचने लग गए कि बिल्डिंग कैसी है, इसने माइवन टेक्नोलॉजी यूज किया हुआ रहेगा कि कन्वेंशन टेक्नोलॉजी यूज किया? ऐसा कभी आपके साथ कभी ऐसा हुआ है, स्पेशली विद फैमिली, स्पेशली विद योर वाइफ?
ऐसा कभी नहीं, हमेशा हुआ है। बॉम्बे में जाते हैं तो हमको सिर्फ है ना जूनी पुरानी खंडर बिल्डिंग हमको गर्लफ्रेंड लगती है। एंड दिस इज अ नाइस क्वेश्चन। व्हेन वी गो आउट, वी रियली गो आउट फॉर अ हॉलीडे, बट एक इनबॉर्न नेचर है कि है ना नज़र वहाँ पे जाती है। सो ऐसा ही हुआ है। Like whenever we go out, we go explore. Simultaneously, I to keep taking that video, and जो buildings जाती है तो उसके photographs, तो even वो family में wife भी परेशान होती है कि भाई यहाँ पर आके भी यही सब चीज़ें करके. But वो by human nature है, that goes like we see the quality of the construction, the way technologies in construction, the finishing, the materials what they use. So many a times, so even we go one step ahead कि even in हॉलीडे मूड में भी हम लोग तो वहाँ जाके है ना, समझो कि होटल
सर्वे करके आते हो।
सर्वे करके आते हैं।
What about you, विक्रम जी?
आपने देखा होगा स्टेशन पे जब वो मोची बैठता है ना, तो वो चेहरे नहीं देखता, वो जूते देखता है। तो हमारा हाल ऐसे ही है। तो ड्राइविंग भी करता हूँ, तो भूषण भाई एंड आई वर जस्ट डिस्कसिंग सम टाइम बैक, तो अभी बीवियाँ बोलती है अब गाड़ी चलाना भी बंद कर दो, बिकॉज ड्राइव करते करते भी हम लोग बिल्डिंग देखते हैं।
ये 500 करोड़ का
नहीं, हम वो नहीं, वो आप देखते हैं, हम तो बिल्डिंग देखते हैं।
हम बिल्डिंग देखते कितना अच्छा हुआ है, क्वालिटी हुआ है, कितना फास्ट डेवलपमेंट हो रहा है।
ये कहाँ से?
अरे ये कहाँ से? ये बिल्डिंग टूट गया, ये तो लास्ट वीक तो टूटा नहीं।
And it's with BDA coming in, we all developers have come so close to each other, so it hardly matters. In fact, we get to learn a lot.
Yes.
What specialized things Vikram Bhai is doing, what Bhushan Bhai is doing, Bhumi Group is doing, Ajmera Group is doing, or all other developers. We have really got so close to each other, and we don't take it as a competition. It's like a family to us, and we really get to know, we get to learn so many things. So that really help us come
This
to
is
another level.
what point he's making is actually very unique for a developer association, so to say. I mean, all these associations that have been there so far, BDA, there is a bonding which is at a very different level. हम लोग even the programs that are done, like whether it be the exhibition or the upcoming the redevelopment summit that we are coming up with, all of these programs we personally ourselves get involved. There's a whole UR team which is the next generation of developers. Their children, they're all completely involved right from the word go. So there's so much of bonding that we have found in BDA. So competition जैसा हमको तो महसूस ही नहीं होता. We feel that there's so much that we can do together.
Yes.
There's one great thing which is there in the DNA of BDA.
And every developer has grown.
Yeah,
After BDA, I can vouch that every developer has grown with the help of each other, and we got to learn many things. That's the way we have grown now.